So, Assalamualaikum semua. Apa khabar? Saya harap semua anda sihat. Semua kerja berjalan. Sesi pembelajaran ODL berjalan dengan lancar. Tidak ada masalah. Family pun sihat. Saya doakan semua berada dalam keadaan dilindungi daripada wabak pandemik yang kita sedang berperang ini. Dan saya harap semua orang stay safe, patuhi SOP. Doa banyak-banyak, jaga kesihatan, jaga kebersihan. So hari ini kita akan, we are going to talk about chapter 3, which is the research methodology, or short form dia chapter 3 is methodology. I'm pretty sure you have done, if you are listening to this video, I'm pretty sure you have done your chapter 2, your literature review. I hope by now you have not so maybe a clearer view on what you are going to do, what have been done, the techniques that you are going to use. If you are doing, if you are going to develop or propose a system, by now you may have an idea what kind of functions should be in your system, what are the components should be in your system. Or if you are doing business intelligence, you know by now what are the possible attributes or data that needs to be used in your project, what are the data mining technique that you are going to use, and what are the data mining or machine learning algorithm that you are going to use for your system. Okay, and then for those who are 2 to 3-year-old students, you may have a brief idea what are the algorithm that you are going to use to solve the problem, and then the steps that need to be carried out for your algorithms development and so on. And then also in the literature review, you have review some of the methodology, some of the steps that usually have been used to carry it out in order to solve or in order to do your proposed project. Mungkin dah baca dalam LR, contoh siapa yang buat system development, you may review some of the system development model like SDLC, AD waterfall, or so on. Or for those who are doing the multimedia development, maybe you have reviewed the AD model. Review it not just reviewing by copying and paste what are the steps, but you need to understand what is necessary need to be done for each of the phases, for each of the steps in those development models. So in this chapter 3, okay, you are going to write the phases that will be conducted in order to complete your final year project. So you have to write your own phases, not just by copying what others have been write in their literature, but you need to adapt those models for your own project. Okay, so for example, in SDLC, the first phase is in CRISP-DM, for example, the first phase is problem understanding. So what do you mean by problem understanding? You go to the problem owner, you conducted some interview. So if you have conducted the interview, so what are the questions that have been asked? So you have to provide those questions. Bagilah apa question yang awak dah tanya dan apa jawapan yang awak dah jumpa. Okay, so you need to detail out each phases based on your project. So your methodology should be tailored to the objective. Maksudnya phases dalam metodologi sepatutnya adalah steps ataupun jalan ataupun langkah yang awak tulis untuk yang perlu diambil untuk menjawab ataupun mencapai objektif yang telah ditetapkan dalam chapter 1. So these are the content for our lecture today. What is methodology and the suggested contents. This is the suggested content, and that should be in the literature. Should be in the chapter 3. So, however, the content must be tailored based on what are the steps that you are going to conduct or what you are going to carry out. So it's not necessarily you have to follow these contents. Okay, you can create your own contents, and please, again, do not copy your senior's report without knowing what you are writing. Don't copy and paste directly, and please do not be caught by me. Okay, you are copying others. I will give you a penalty if you got caught by me, if you are copying others directly. Okay. So in this slide, in this video, I'm going to talk about the first two suggested content, the introduction and project development methodology. Versus in the methodology, I'm going to talk in the next video, so to make it shorter and easier for you to listen to. So what is methodology? Okay, so methodology is a guideline for solving a problem with specific components such as phases, tasks, methods, techniques, and tools. So in chapter 3, okay, so you should write, okay, a phases. You need to have a phase, fasa, and each phase must have a task, what you are going to do at that phase, and then what are the methods that you are going to use, and what are the techniques and tools that have been applied in order to, ataupun that will be applied in order to complete the task. So you akan ada phases. Methodology should have a phases, fasa, task, apa activity that you are going to carry out, and what are the methods that need to be used in order to carry out the task, the techniques and tools that is going to be used in the task. Okay, so that these are the components that should be inside the methodology. So what are the suggested content for your research methodology? First, you need to have an introduction. Introduction ni nak cerita apa sebenarnya? Introduction, you should talk about the brief. You should give a brief introduction to the reader. Okay, what are the content of the rest of the chapter? So sepatutnya bila reader baca introduction, dia dah tahu dah, dia dah ada idea in their mind. Your supervisor ke examiner ke other readers should know what is going to be discussed in the rest of the chapter. So itu sebenarnya introduction. Bukan sekadar this paper, this is an introduction to the chapter, titik dah. No, you should summarize what you are going to talk about in the chapter. So tulislah, this is a methodology chapter. This chapter will discuss apa dia, and then this chapter contain beberapa subtopik, and each subtopik itu cerita secara brief apa yang awak akan tulis dalam setiap chapter, apa yang reader akan baca untuk setiap subchapter. So that's an introduction. Okay. Okay. The 3.2 should be the project development methodology. So what is should be in this point, in this subsection? So saya punya first tadi, subsection first dalam chapter 3 ialah 3.1, which is the introduction. 3.2 is the project development methodology. So in this subsection, awak terpatutnya cerita, explain your project development methodology, how many phases are there, what are the phases, and explain in brief each of the phases. Okay, not in detail, but explain in brief. Dalam chapter 1 hari tu, awak ada masukkan 1.7 project framework. So you may remove project framework from chapter 1, from the chapter 1, and then put it in this subject section. Okay, letak dalam this subsection. So apa yang berlaku, awak akan remove chapter 1 and then letak dalam subsection, and make sure you have to edit or update the framework awak berdasarkan apa yang awak dah study dalam you punya LR. So janganlah copy paste sahaja daripada chapter 1 letak and then explain. No, Sebab saya tahu most of you, bukan semua, most of you yang ambil somewhere else project framework, and then you just put it inside your chapter 1 for 1.7 without thinking ataupun without have a clear view what you are going to do. So in this subsection 3.2, sepatutnya awak kena ambil balik yang framework awak tadi, letak balik, okay, and then explain in detail ataupun explain for each phases, not in detail yet, explain for each phases apa yang awak akan buat dalam each of the phase. Okay, setiap tu apa yang awak nak buat. So contohnya kalau awak pakai awak buat business intelligence, you are going to look at the CRIPS DM. So adapted CRIPS DM for example. So dalam ni awak kena cerita lah awak akan pakai CRIPS DM, awak ambil daripada siapa, and then apa phases yang ada, how many phases yang ada, and then setiap phases tu nak buat apa. Okay, itu 3.2. So kalau awak pakai AD model for those who are doing multimedia, so you should explain about the AD model, daripada siapa yang awak ambil, I mean who are the author of the AD model, and then what are the phases inside the AD model. So kalau ada diagram, put the diagram of the AD model, and then cerita sebut pasal each phases and explain kata secara brief setiap phases, what is the phases, what are the phases, and what you should do ataupun what is about all the phases, setiap phases tu lah. Okay, so itu sepatutnya dalam 3.2. Okay.